Welcome back to Mac Talks Football, and PSG have thrashed Aston Villa 3-1 at the Paris Stadium, and it was not a really good return to PSG for Unai Emery. So let's go ahead and talk about it. I mean, it was such a one-sided game. My prediction was completely off the charts in this game. I really thought this was gonna be a quite a highly contested game. I went for a 0-0 in this game. I thought that both the teams were gonna have a go at it, and none of them would be able to break the deadlock, but the game really never went that way. It was a complete and utter domination by PSG from the first minute of the game until the 90th minute. It was just PSG. They created about 35 chances in that game, and they had 15 or 16 shots on the goal. That just shows you their domination of the game. The chances they created, it was so easy for PSG in that game. And no disrespect to Aston Villa, I mean, they are the most underdog team out of the last 8 in the quarterfinals. Nobody really expected them to come this far, and that is why I keep on saying that Unai Emery is doing an amazing job at Villa. But this game basically showed the difference in the levels between Aston Villa and PSG. Villa couldn't really get the ball of PSG, despite, and I understand PSG were the home side, but the way that they dominated the game, the way that they were creating the chances, the way that they were moving the ball, and for Villa players, it felt like the PSG players were like just they were falling shadows. They couldn't get close to them, let alone tackle them. They really had no idea how to cope with the press that PSG were doing. Luis Enrique completely decimated Unai Emery and his tactics in the first half, in the second half, in the entirety of that game. And this is and despite all that, I mean, this is the beauty of football. PSG completely dominating for the entirety of that game, and then Aston Villa go ahead and they get a counter attack, and they go ahead and they take the lead. They take the lead, becomes 1-0. Martin Rogers scoring that goal. Rashford whips it in from the left hand side, crosses it in open net, and becomes quite a typical FIFA sweaty goal. And Aston Villa take the nil 1-0, and you're just sitting there. If you're a PSG fan at that moment in that game, you're just like, how can this happen? Because up until at that point, Aston Villa had barely done anything. I mean, they really did not do anything, and they went ahead and they took the lead. But of course, PSG were not gonna back down, and the way that they were creating, you just like it was a matter of a when and not whether it is gonna happen. I mean, Desire Diao, I mean, that goal, that's special. At the last 2-3 days, we saw Declan Rice's special goal. We saw Lautaro Martinez, and now Diao with that goal. I mean, that was such a spectacular goal. The way he curls it, the way he beats his man, comes in from the left hand side, curls it. I mean, it was spectacular goal to bring PSG level. It becomes a 1-0. I mean, that was a special goal, and the fact that he's so young and he's scoring goals like that at the PSG. I said it in my video when I made it, when PSG won the league over the weekend, that they have built a really good core squad of young players, and they are going to dominate for the next 5-6 years in France and in Europe. I mean, let's be very honest, the main target is to win the Champions League, and with players like Diao and all of those around him, they are a real threat. And it became 1-1, and the game never really changed. To be very honest with you, it was completely PSG's domination, and Aston Villa was just copying the game. Second half comes in, and it felt like PSG left from they continued from where they left off, and it was yet again chance after chance. And then, I mean, Kvaratskhelia, that goal, I mean, that was such an amazing run, and then to defeat the defender and to take that shot with the power in that shot, Martinez had no chance to solve that, and it becomes a 2-1. I mean, I get it, Diao's goal was spectacular and the way and everything. I mean, but Kvaratskhelia goal himself was a really good goal. The run he makes, the way he beats the defenders, and then to curl in, and to with the power that he shoots with at the top of the roof of the net. I mean, it was a really good goal. It becomes a 2-1 for PSG, and up until that point, I would say if the game ends 2-1, Aston Villa would have hoped that there's still chance they are going to come back to Villa Stadium, and they are going to think that maybe we can turn things around, and quite possibly they could have done as well. And the game goes on. PSG are continuously trying to get that third goal, because Enrique knows and PSG knows that if they score 3 goals, psychologically that is a big difference. Winning 3-1 is a huge in comparison to winning 2-1. so that was very important for them. They needed to get that third goal, and they had to wait quite a long time, right up until the end. In the 90th minute, Ousmane Dembele, again, Aston Villa mistake at the middle of the park. They lose the ball, and then Ousmane Dembele plays a really good pass to Nuno Mendes, and he goes ahead and he scores that third goal. Great finish it. Again, sidesteps the goalkeeper, wrong steps the goalkeeper and the defender, shows them he's going to go to left, makes a foul out of both of them, then goes right and scores the goal, and it becomes a 3-1. And I think that was a really, really good finish as well. All the three goals from PSG were, top notch, I would say. Really, really good goal. And the way they are now enjoying, they have won the league, they really want to win the Champions League, so they are playing with freedom, they are playing with so much of fun. So winning the game 3-1, I think they have 1 foot in the semi-finals, and they now just basically have to go ahead and in a way defend and try to cope with Aston Villa and their fans in the away leg next weekend. Aston Villa, on the other hand, they would be really, really disappointed. Emery knows that they were never really in that game. They got completely dominated by Paris Saint-Germain, and the one thing that he would be really disappointed and angry about is when they got the lead, they gave away the lead very quickly. It was like 2-3 minutes between Aston Villa taking the lead and Advice scoring a screamer of a goal. So I think that is one thing that Emery is going to be really, really pissed about, because if they take the 1-0 lead and they make sure they go into the half with that lead in the second half, the more they drag that 1-0 lead, the more pressure the PSG would have been, and then Aston Villa could have taken the advantage. But to lose the lead in like a couple of minutes, I mean, that was a big loss for PSG. And of course, then considering in the 90th minute, I mean, again, as I said, if you lose 2-1 and you bring them back to your place, there's a big chance to turn things around. Of course, there's still chance to turn things around. It's 2 goals in football, anything can happen, but as I said before, psychologically 2-1 and 3-1, it's a big difference, even if you're the home side. And of course, your Aston Villa are the underdogs in this game, so it would have really helped them to keep the game at 2-1. I think Emery is going to be really pissed about that. And of course, as I said, he knows that he got completely played by Luis Enrique. He got all the tactics that Emery tried to play, they got overrun by Enrique. He lost fair and square in that regard, and his players and team lost fair and square in every department of the game. They couldn't really attack. I mean, as they say, they barely had the ball, so they were completely dominated. And Aston Villa really need to work hard, because if you look at the table in the Premier League, I mean, that if they really want to come back into the Champions League, the best bet is to win the Champions League, which now it's looking like an uphill task in the second leg. They really have to play out of their skin to at least score 2 goals first and make sure they don't concede. And if they want to go through in normal times, they have to score 3 goals. So it's a big task for Aston Villa. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next week. So yeah, that is for me in this video. Let me know what you guys thought of the game, what you guys thought of Villa's performance, what you guys thought of PSG's performance, and who do you think is gonna go into the next leg. Do you think Villa have a chance, or do you think PSG have done enough in the first leg? Let me know in the comment section below. I like the video, share it as well, click on the notification bell, and of course subscribe to the channel. We are trying to get to 500 subscribers before the end of this year, before the end of this season, so please go ahead and subscribe to the channel and help us out. Until next time, bye bye.